It's a sci-fi real-time strategy, developed and published by Blizzard Entertainment. It's split across 3 chapters for each of the playable races, and it's the story of the Cthulhu sector's inhabitants' efforts to prevent the return of an eon-old galactic threat.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
The graphics and animations are just gorgeous, the gameplay is deep and challenging, with different styles of play for each faction, and the storyline is compelling with well-rounded and acted characters. The game in its entirety feels like it drags on. Some of the objectives across missions, although superficially different, are identical. Towards the late game, strategy feels superfluous, with a better tactic being just to throw everything you have at the enemy, and the game's concepts end up feeling a little too out there in the end. Now, maybe it might have been better to look at each of the installments of Starcraft 2 separately, but then I would have been repeating myself quite frequently, given that other than the story and the control scheme of each faction, they are functionally identical. Saying that, I do have preferences, with Wings of Liberty being my favourite and feeling most like Starcraft. After that, Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void gradually decline quality. And I do mean gradually, because really the Protoss campaign is just as balanced and engaging as the Terrans, and in fact they are my favourite race to play. What I feel the issue is though, is that by this point the whole Starcraft experience is wearing a little thin. You've seen enough permutations of mission objectives for them to feel samey regardless of the new coat of paint, and the story feels like it's just meandering around until its conclusion. Despite that, however, the ending actually feels pretty rushed, and I'd even say jumps the shark somewhat, in an attempt to pay off the galactic scale impacts it's built up. Even though it seems like I'm being hard on the game, I loved Starcraft 2, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with the gameplay or graphics, barring some slight optimization issues. The biggest problem is simply franchise fatigue. Whereas the first game had around 30 levels spread across the 3 factions, the sequel has over 75, with each faction's chapter being the size of a full game. And when you look at it like that, of course the concept is wearing thin, as there are effectively 4 full Starcraft games, and Blizzard should really be commended for keeping it as fresh as it did for so long.